In this video, we're going to be talking about Suno, particularly in terms of what's happened with Udio and concerns in the community. Hey everyone, this is Barry from Music Tech Info. Hope you're doing well today. I'm doing good, actually, very good. It's getting dark very early in the UK, like 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. It's 20 past 4. Yeah, it's getting really dark now. Anyway, if you subscribe with this channel, you'll know a lot about Udio. Now, Udio, which is how it's supposed to be pronounced, not Udio, that a lot of people call it, was bought over by UMG. And as a result, what happened is they banned downloads immediate effect. And that caused an absolute uproar in the community. And as a result, they allowed a 48-hour window, which is well past now, to allow for downloads. But that's got people thinking in the community, what happens with the likes of Suno? So Suno is definitely the #1 platform as an AI music generator. I mean, it is absolutely amazing what it does. You've also got Suno Studio, which I was the first YouTuber to actually feature, which was an absolute privilege for me. They've got their latest version, a version 5 model, which is just so good compared to 4.5. Some people prefer version 4.5, but there is version 5. And I love version 5. I think it's ace. They've got like a discovery platform with hooks now. So they're building an ecosystem, right? And the concern in the community was, well, what if Suno gets bought over by a record label? Is that going to prevent downloads? So there was a lot of queries and concerns in the community. Now I'll start with this. So this person on social media, Facebook, said, Meta, said, I contacted Suno regarding my concerns about them doing the same thing, disabling and downloads as part of whatever settlement eventually happens. I highly suggest everybody shoot them an email telling them how much we appreciate them and encourage them not to come to the same settlement as their rival Udio did. I don't know if it will make a difference, but it's important. And it is important. I don't know. It would suck to make new songs and then have to get on the computer and spend a lot of time recording them manually to get them into your private collection. I can't speak for those who try to make money off something personally. I'm not sure I agree with that, but I love this service. Now, they had a response from Suno support saying, our legal team is doing its best to make sure that Suno users will not experience the same thing that happened with Udio. We do not have plans to restrict or limit users to download and use their songs commercially. We do not want you to worry about this since we have the best team to protect Suno and its users. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. You know, that we need reassurance in the community about this because we rely so much on these platforms. And when those platforms go down, like they did with Cloudflare yesterday, and Suno was definitely one of them, all chaos breaks loose and people even messaging me saying Suno's down, what the hell's going on? And they didn't realize that it was like a global network issue with Cloudflare, that basically a lot of services were down, including OpenAI. So we rely heavily on these platforms, and when something like that happens, you can't access them or you can't download your music, that's like a worst case scenario for us as, you know, musicians, potential musicians, whatever you want to call us. So I also wanted to discuss another thing that I found on social media, quite similar, but it gives us a bit more information from Suno's stance on things. So this is from Nikos, and Nikos said, update about Suno download stems and future changes. Over the last days, many creators have been worried about Udio's recent changes. I contacted the Suno team officially on behalf of our community and asked about downloads and stems access, possible new licensing agreements or partnerships, advance notice for major platform changes, access to already created works in the future. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is that platforms can change the terms of service like that, and they can change what they act on with those terms of service. And what I mean by that is, if, for example, an old terms of service a year ago says you have complete commercial rights of the generations that you create as long as you have this plan, which is certainly the case with Suno, then that's fine. But literally a click of a finger, they can change that terms of service and all of a sudden start to say you no longer have commercial rights over any generations that you have. And something similar happened with that with UGO. So when it was bought by UMG recently, they actually said that any future generations you will not have commercial rights for. They will be inbuilt like a ring fence, like a garden wall. You'll only be able to have those generations within the UGO platform. So that basically means you can't put it on Spotify, you can't put it on social media, so you can't market your own generations. So the concern about that is that these platforms can just change on a whim whenever they want. Now, one of the terms of service of Suno is that if you upload audio or your music or your vocal into Suno, in the terms of service, it does say that they can use it to train the algorithm. But from an interview from the CEO of Suno about a month ago, he confirmed that that's not what they want to do. Okay, I personally think that the reasons why they don't want to do that is because they don't want rubbish into the system, rubbish out of the system. You know, what you put into the algorithm in terms of quality is what you'll get out as an output. So you have to bear that in mind, that just because it says it in the terms of service doesn't mean that's what they'll do, but they have the right to do it. And they have the right to change their terms of service whenever they wish. So, yeah. So anyway, Spotify. Suno support replied saying, there are no current announced changes right now regarding downloads or stems access. If any changes are planned in the future, creators will be clearly informed in advance. Sorry, I've got a really squeaky chair. There are no public announcements at this time about new licensing agreements or partnerships that would change how we create music on Suno. Users will keep access to the works they have already created. Of course, they cannot share internal plans or unreleased features. I certainly don't know of any, which is normal, but for now there's no official announcement about the removing of downloads or stems or suddenly changing the system without notice. So I thought that was really good. We'll keep creating and releasing music as usual. If Suno publishes any new official information that affects creators, I will share it, and I'll certainly try and share it on the channel. So make sure you subscribe if you're interested. So for now, we're fine. Nothing is officially changing, but you should always have backups and alternatives because this is a cloud service, not your own digital audio workstation. And that's the thing with Suno Studio, right? Because the more functionality that Suno actually release into their studio, the more people will want to use it. So the likelihood is that more people all want to rely on it. For example, I did a video yesterday featuring the new equalizer functionality, which was really exciting. I'm really impressed with it. I'm not going to go through it now, but check out yesterday's video if you're interested, because it just allows you to mix the songs so much better in Suno Studio. A lot of you guys are not really interested in Suno Studio. You just want to make generations, which is absolutely fine as well. So it's just something to bear in mind, that the better that this platform gets, the more reliant you can be on it. So make sure you are going to that export button or the download button in the library, and you are making sure that you're downloading the stems, right? And MIDI, if that's what you want. Now the MIDI isn't very polished at the moment, but it's better than nothing. And so yeah, protect yourself. It's really important. Anyway, I hope that's helped, but I wanted to clear that up because it was a huge shock to the AI generator community about UGO. I was number one with UGO from the beginning 2.5 years ago, and Suno has just completely excelled. And development stopped working with UGO, probably because they had light of what was going on, right? The fact that they wanted to try and get a deal with UMG. So where that leaves Suno, we don't know. There's a lot of lawsuits going on at the moment. I personally love Suno. I really do. And I think it's certainly the best AI music generator tool out there at the moment. So anyway, I hope that's helped. Let me know what you think in the comments. I do appreciate each and every comment. I can't always respond to each and every one though. So apologies if I don't, but I'll certainly try and like them if I agree. All right, take care guys. Bye.